Hello everybody, welcome. You are listening to MFL Total Access here at Terry Babalis' place. I am so happy to be back, Terry. It was a long time coming and I'm glad to be back on the show.
I never thought I'd say this, but I actually missed you a little bit.
Thank you. The feeling is mutual for sure.
Yeah, last couple of guests did great. I don't know if you watched the episodes with Jaff, Kevin, John, but they're all fairly good. But I heard a lot of comments that people wanted you back on. Surprisingly, shockingly. Yeah,
I appreciate that. We definitely have good chemistry. But no, thanks to all three of those guys for stepping in while I was away. Really great job. I like the jerseys, all three of them wore. It was a really good time. And I think there was some great games that I missed.
Some of you guys even went to the extent of saying that they were just listening to it on Spotify and not even watching it anymore since they couldn't see your pretty face.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I do the same, folks, and I get to see the jersey too and the stuff. So, glad to be back, guys. And we got some playoffs MFL to talk about.
Oh, my God. What a week that was.
Yeah, nuts. Take it away.
Like, how hot was it?
It was dangerous. It was dangerous.
Dangerous is the word. We had multiple people playing a lot of games. And
yes.
First time I see this, already you barely see teams ever forfeit a game or call the game off. But 2 playoff games at halftime, the team just said, we're not going back.
Yeah.
It was a blowout. Okay, yes. And they're like, for the safety of us, the refs, and others.
Yeah.
We even had technical timeouts called midway through the second half just
right.
for the... Well, the refs decided to do that for themselves also.
Yeah.
But for everyone to get a sip of water.
Well, that was well deserved though. It's kind of like you see that in soccer games, with the 8-year-olds. When it's too cold, too hot, and they're running around. We got to give them a break.
It's not that hot this coming Saturday.
Yeah, I didn't check the weather.
That's gonna be tough because how many games could you play up to?
4.
Okay, I could play up to 5.
Yeah.
So if it's that hot, we're gonna be in trouble.
No, big time.
Just before we start, for those of you that saw, we did something different this week for our picks, giving those a playoffs. Wanted to spice up a bit. Instead of doing classic picks, we went with a spread and over-under. It was pretty cool. We'll put the standings out. Maybe Kevin won't post it, but it was not even close. I destroyed everybody.
I don't think we have to talk about that. The regular season's done.
So the season was very close, but I don't understand what happened. I'm sending you guys in. I'm like, did you guys do it, or did your cat do it for you?
I was just gonna say, I think my cat could have done a better job for this paw.
Because it was bad.
I think I got 34% of my picks right or something. 23%.
You got 23% of your picks. Kevin got 46, John 54, and I got 77.
Yeah.
And then the over-under, I got 85, and the second highest was you and Kevin tied at 46.
Well, I don't know who did the over-under there, but those numbers were way off.
But the over-under, okay, if they were way off, it should have been easier to get it right then, no?
I guess. Well said.
All right, let's go to Division 1. We only had one game this past weekend because Centurions and Ninja Turtles will be playing their semifinals right before the finals at 8 o'clock in the morning this coming Saturday.
Rise and shine.
Oh, yeah. So, what happened in that game,
yes,
Willie?
What happened? Well,
Willie!
The outlaw.
Wait. It wasn't third time a charm. Can't you not beat the same? I thought it was impossible to beat the same team 3 times in a season.
It's hard to beat a team 3 times in the season. Unfortunately,
didn't seem too hard.
Unfortunately, you guys did it. You guys had a really good game. Final score 33-21. I think not to take away anything from you guys. I think you guys played a great game. I think defensively you guys shut us down. Jason Rossi didn't look too comfortable, but we came out flat in the first half. And
that was very surprising.
Yeah, I think second half we kind of were able to turn it up a little bit, but it wasn't too little too late. But Steve is not going to blow a lead. You know what I mean? Especially it was 26-6. We're down 20 points. At that point we're using all our energy just to come back and tie the game. So the fact that you guys took that big lead early on, and we had momentum too. Though Demario made that nice interception. And unfortunately we couldn't capitalize, but your defense was stellar, and I think Steve had a very good game. But not to take away anything from your offense, but I think we can agree that it was your defense that won you guys the game, which is pretty impressive to see. And look at all your stars you have across the field, I say you guys are more of an offensive oriented team when you have a guy like Steve at quarterback, but you guys really stepped up on the defensive side, and you guid deserve to win the game.
Yeah, crazy. Like you said, Steve's not gonna lose the game at that point, but we did have back-to-back drives late in that second half where we threw a pick and then got safetied.
Right.
And that swung it around, and then you guys felt you were still alive. But very shocking in the first half, you guys only scored 6 points. Yeah. And you guys did come out flat, and that was what shocked me the most, because the first 2 times we played you guys, even that week before the season started, that game we played felt like a playoff game.
Right.
And the season hadn't even started, and it was so intense. And both games that we played, you guys came out strong right off the bat, scoring on your first 3 drives in both of those games.
Yeah.
We had no answer for you on defense.
Yeah.
And even after an early turn of Demario made an insane interception as a rusher.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That's my dream.
I know. Yeah. Do you ever have a pick as a rusher? Or?
In a scrimmage against Chris when we played during the winter. It happened once. I think it slipped out of his hands.
Yeah. We'll count it.
But he batted it, and then he batted it to
crazy.
The sideline almost, and he ran to the sideline, pitched it back to himself, got it, and like if it wasn't for you, he probably.
And then John called a penalty on me because I
very
still can't
If it
believe
wasn't
that.
for you, he would have probably scored 6 points. He was 1v1, and you know how DeMario has the moves.
Yes.
So like if it wasn't for you being overly too excited, running down the sideline, like not knowing what the hell you're doing, maybe you guys would have had 6 points there, and it would have changed the game. Because after that pick, we stopped you, and you didn't get points off of it.
I think Steve may have slid a 20 under John's Gatorade bottle before the game there, but
I do not believe so. But that's the thing that shocked me the most. You guys coming up that flat, and that the other thing that surprised me was how we were up. I think we were up 26-6 at some point. And in my head, okay, if we're up that big against you guys with like it was 14 minutes remaining, the game's over. You guys are gonna self-implode.
Right.
Like you're gonna start screaming at each other. You're gonna want to make a quarterback switch, and that's when you guys like came together
it was the
and
opposite.
actually fought. Like that was just as surprising as your slow start.
Yeah,
because it
I
just
agree.
showed to like with 14 minutes remaining, and the score was still 26-6 with 7 minutes left, and you guys scored back-to-back touchdowns in 3 minutes. And got that safety. Like it just showed how much talent you guys have on that roster.
100%. I think that like we talked, just to allude on your point there, we talked about like we were too good of a team on paper to miss the playoffs, and I think that we showed how good we can be in the second half of that game. I think that, something that played a little bit of de facto, not to make excuses, is Chris and Andrew had just played the game before. They were a little tired. It was hot, but you guys had played other games too. You had already played previous
just played before. Marvin had played before.
That's true.
I just played before. I just played before. I think our whole team.
Well, not right before. You had played.
Of us had played.
Yeah, that's true. But no. To kind of add on to what you're saying,
What's the
I
next
think
excuse?
It was just too hot. But no, I think it was a little too late, and I think that we made the game 26-21, and then we had the momentum, and then you guys clutched up, and Vince Molendez made that crazy catch in
that ball was in the air for so long.
And when Steve threw it, I was like, I can't believe he's taking a risk to throw it, and then Vince just did the toe tap, and that was Vince had a quite good game. Like he had a good game, but like not necessarily like 2 catches, 20 yards, a touchdown. But he also made some key tackles.
17-yard touchdown. Yeah, Vince was tackling everything underneath. He had 8 tackles and that huge sack on DeMario when you guys went double QB.
Double QB, that was
like,
big.
Obviously, we played that well, but no matter who's the second rusher, like DeMario could just make him like miss so easily and buy so much time.
Right.
And he didn't even give him an extra second. He came flying out of the bat.
Yeah.
And like bam, he got that sack, and it was like a huge loss, and that put you guys in a hole. But like, yeah, I agree. Vince played really well that game.
And you got to talk about it. All this without really Kevin Smuda doing much on offense. Obviously,
he was a little limited. He didn't play much of offense.
Right,
he's had some red zone, but
dealing with that injury, and so we'll see what happens in the finals if he's able to play.
But
and
Zvetna and Marvin like really stepped up. Like,
of course,
Marvin and had obviously those 3 touchdowns, but Zvetna was really stretching the field for us and making key catches.
Right. Well, I talked about it before. I was telling Steve after the game that while I think that right now Marvin and Svetna could be like the 2 superstars in offense, I think that like when times get tough, it's always good to have like that big security blanket like Smuda, third and short to kind of use that. So we'll see how that plays into effect in the finals if in fact Smuda does get some more reps.
His mind was still there on defense. He was still playing very well defensively.
He's a head coach. He's a head coach in a player's body. Really.
Anything else you want to say?
Congrats to you guys, and well deserved. I think it's going to be a really good finals.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So let's preview that semifinals that didn't happen yet. Centurions Ninja Turtles.
8 o'clock. I don't think I'm going for 8 o'clock because that's way too early. I got my Arnold's game at 9:30. Well, you're my lift.
There's the D5 finals at the same time. So if I'm reffing that game,
that's true.
You might have to be there.
Yeah. So do your best not to ref that game. But Centurions Ninja Turtles. Obviously they played a few times this year.
Ninja Turtles won both games, but close games. They won the most recent one by 9 points, and they won the first one by 12.
You know what? I think that I'll say right off the bat. I think the Turtles are going to win this game. I think the pressure, however, is on the Ninja Turtles. I think if the Centurions, you're kind of going into this game. Obviously, there's no moral victories there, and you're happy making the playoffs. They want to win the championship. Obviously, They're not happy just making the playoffs.
Defending D2 champs from last year.
Exactly.
And like I said, there's no moral victories, but like when you're just thinking about the season they had, coming up from D2 against these strong D1 teams like Outlaws, Henchmen, and these new teams that just joined, like the new Ninja Turtles, that's not the same Ninja Turtles we've seen in the past.
Right.
Moretti Crime Family, Holy Trolls have been there for a while, and this team is part of the final 3.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Don't tap yourself in the back yet because obviously they want more, but that's already like crazy. Like, who would think that a D2 team coming up in their first season would make it this far and actually have a chance? Like, I'm also taking Turtles in this game, but I do think Centurions have a chance to win it. It's
100%.
not like one-sided like that.
No, I wouldn't. Like, let's just say I wouldn't be shocked if the Centurions end up winning this game. Just to kind of say what I was saying earlier, that like they're happy with what they've done this season, but I feel like the pressure is off in a certain way where I think like We could say Turtles and Outlaws from the second half of the season seem to be the two best teams in D1, so you'd expect that to be the finals. However, I think Centurions are good enough to beat the Turtles, and like I really feel like they're coming into this game as the underdogs, and they're kind of embracing that role.
Who's coming in as the underdogs?
Centurions.
Oh, yes.
Centurions are coming in as underdogs. They're embracing the role. Like you said, they played 2 times previously, and obviously both games, neither of them were a blowout. I think what's going to be key in this game is the deep ball. I know that the Centurions like to go short. They like to use Sam Collette as much as possible. Obviously, when you have a snapper like him, you want to try and do that. But I think how both teams are going to be able to stretch the field is going to be key in this game. Obviously, we know the Turtles like to go deep. The 2 Pilon brothers, you got Tam, who's probably going to be playing quarterback. But you also got a bunch of other great players on that team. And I think, too, for the Centurions, they have speed, too. They have speed to burn. And I think that the short game is going to be key. But the big plays are going to be made on long bombs in this game to kind of catch defenses off guard and then see what they can do afterwards in the passing game.
I think it's going to depend who's going to make the most mistakes in this game. Like the quarterback that turns the ball over the least is for sure going to win.
Yeah.
And the other thing I think that plays a factor in this game is obviously the bye week for both teams that did not play a competitive game.
Yeah.
And the week before that, Ninja Turtles had that blowout win against the Outlaws that we were only 60 was not there.
True.
Whereas Centurions played a playoff-like game against Murray Crime Family, who was winning
point.
it in. So they're in that playoff mode already, whereas last time the Ninja Turtles played a very intense and competitive game has been a while ago. So is that going to factor in? Is it obviously Ninja Turtles have a bunch of veterans on that team that have played in very, very high and intense games before.
Of course, yeah.
So I think they'll still rally the troops, but that's something to take into consideration.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. You're 100% right. I think
a lot of stuff you don't think about that I think about.
That's fair. I think that the bye really does play into a key factor, but I think, Terry, like you said, I don't think it should be too much of an issue for the Turtles just because they have the high amount of experience there. They're guys that don't take flag football for granted. I think it'll be a close game, but like I said, I got the Turtles coming out on top, and I got them playing you in the finals.
So let's preview the finals then.
Let's preview
Outlaws, Turtles.
So you also got that finals. I think that's going to be a really good game. Last time you guys played each other, if we exclude the time that Steve didn't play at quarterback, I believe you guys won by a point.
We won by a point on the last play of the game.
That was crazy. I remember Svetna made a really nice catch deep in the end zone. I think you guys had...
And Smuda was not there in that game.
Smuda was... And you weren't there, right? If I remember correctly?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I think that... wow. I think that this is going to be a really close game.
Turtles did have both Pilon brothers. And Tam
They did have both. Okay, so and it'd be at 9:30, right?
It'd be right after their semifinals.
Yeah. So in other words,
so that's obviously going to play a role for them. But that was it sucks given the scheduling. But they're the ones that both of the teams, Centurions and Intros, could have not shown up this past weekend. That's why they're playing the semifinals right before.
Got you.
And they were aware that the finals would be right after, and they still accepted it because they were both missing multiple key players
for this past Saturday.
Yes, that's
okay. Got you. I think that.
But obviously, it still plays a factor, right?
Of course. I think similarly to to the last time you guys played with both having full rosters, I think it's going to be a 1-possession game. I think it's going to be super tight.
The game is going to be back and forth.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, how the Pilon brothers are able to kind of take away Steve's new and improved deep ball. Obviously we know Steve likes to go short.
I heard henchmen were saying Steve can't throw the ball deep.
Yeah, that was that's maybe why you caught us a little bit off guard there. Obviously, I know Steve developed that. I think a big factor is gonna come into this game is whether Smoot is playing and how many reps he's getting and if he's playing at 100%. Because I do feel like you guys without Smuda playing are capable of winning this game and are good enough to win this game and probably even favorites. But I think that having Smuda there in the offense as a receiver, as a weapon in a game as important as this is going to be big for you guys to have.
I also think the size is a huge aspect in this game, right?
Yes.
Like Smuda's Vetna and Marvin are huge compared to what they offer on their side. I know they have some big players, but the majority of their key talent is maybe smaller than our 3 big S's.
Right. Yeah, big S's like that for sure. But I think to kind of compensate that, they have the speed there on their side, whereas you guys have speed too, but they excel with their speed. I think this is going to be a really good game. I think kind of like you talked about, Terry, in terms of mistakes. I think first team to make a mistake in this one ends up losing.
Yeah, because the other team's going to make you pay in this game, right?
Yes, 100%.
Whether Steve or Tam throw a pick, it's probably going to... It could go for 6 very easily, and if it doesn't, the other team's going to probably make you pay and score.
For sure. I think, definitely, I think this game is going to come down to that. It's going to come down to how teams are able to play in the red zone, how they're able to move their ball. I'm going to say I got you guys winning the championship. I'm going to say, I'll make my prediction, 33-27. Four-peat, yeah. I hope I'm wrong. Whoever's playing Outlaws, please win. No, I'm kidding. Well, I'm not actually kidding. But, yeah, I'm going to say Outlaws win this game 33-27 in the finals against Ninja Turtles.
27, oh, yeah.
I think it'll be close. I think it's one possession.
I think it's going to go down to converts. I don't even think it's going to be a touchdown.
Yeah, even closer, right?
And, we know how Ninja Turtles like to do not only that double QB, but the triple QB set.
Yes. And it seems to work. Every time we see they seem to be a completion or a touchdown or a conversion.
So we'll be ready for that.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be, unfortunately, I won't be able to watch the game because I'll be playing my D3 semis there, but hopefully our game finishes early and hopefully your game goes to OT. So that way our game ends and we can see the end of your game.
Okay, let's go to D2.
Yeah, D2. Take it away.
Let's start with our game.
Yes.
OG Panthers Honor Game. Let's go!
I'm excited for this one.
It's funny when you play against each other in the playoffs, eh?
Yes.
Last time we played in the season, we didn't, I wasn't there for that game. You played that game.
Yes, I did.
We kind of crushed you.
Yeah, you guys won big. I can't sugarcoat it.
And I've said it a couple of times. OG Panthers never lost to Honor Game in ever. Like,
you know what mom always told me? There's a first for everything, my friend.
Yeah, the same way that Henchman was going to beat Outlaws.
Well, this is D2, not D1.
So this is going to be another great game.
Yes.
The thing is, so far you and Marvin are maybe going to play half-half, but it's still up in the air. Maybe some side deals are going to be done. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
But
John's got to fix that damn schedule.
What a game this is going to be. Like, I'm super excited for it. OG Panthers have been on a roll. Honor Game have been in on a roll. What's a fun fact, we had our quarterfinals at the same time.
Yeah.
And we kind of spoke at the halftime of our games.
Yeah.
Both our teams were down 18-14 in that game.
Yes.
And both our teams
came storming back.
Came storming back, and we won big in the second half.
Yes.
By 2 possessions or more. So that's something we have in common. Obviously, I know Dave a lot. You know OG Panthers a lot. Mm-hmm. So there's for sure still stuff being exchanged in the group chats as we speak.
Of course.
It's gonna be like a chess match, and it's gonna come down to I think this game's gonna come down to who could stop the other team's superstars more. Can you guys control and stop Louis, and will we be able to stop you and Marvin? Mm-hmm. And I think that's what the game's going to come down to. Yeah. If Louis goes ballistic for over 100 yards, 3 touchdowns, we're for sure winning that game.
Yeah. If
Marvin or you go ballistic for 3 touchdowns, 100 yards, you guys are going to for sure win that game. I think we'll look at the stats at the end of the game and we'll know what the final score will be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, it's well said. I think I somewhat agree with that. I think that both teams have the talent. Even if you take away, let's say, the top dogs on each team, I think that even if you take away Louis, and I know he's your best receiver and has a great connection with Charles there, but you guys have ballers all across the field with OG Panthers. So I think that even if he doesn't necessarily have the game of his life, you have JF Delos, you have you have Kemba, you have other great, you have Simon DeChesney, I think I pronounced that correctly. You have other great receivers, but also you also have your defense that you could rely on, which is defense for you guys, I'd say is arguably the best in D2. And even for us too, we have Laurent, one of the best snappers in the division, in the league on our team. We have, Dylan, Kareem, Rob, Hensley, we have a bunch of other guys. So I think that obviously taking away the top dogs in each team will be important, but I think that necessarily won't guarantee a victory. So I'd say I maybe agree to disagree with you a little bit there. But I think that this game, for an honor game perspective, is going to come down to if we're down big or if we go down early on, how is Dave going to control the team?
It's going to be poor, though. Especially if Marvin's in the game and not you.
Well, no, we don't know that.
No, we know that.
Yeah, well, we do know that, but I'm not going to admit that live. But I did, but I'd say, well, look, depending who's going to play that game, who's playing first half, like we said, there's a few things up in the air with the scheduling system.
That's not fair, though. If we have the heat that we had last week, and then you or Marvin come in totally fresh in the second half, that's such an advantage.
Baby.
Imagine me rushing that game, and then at halftime, I could swap out for another Terry that's fully rested, and he gets to rush the second half.
Okay, let's do this. How about we do Marvin and I play a half, and then Charles plays one half for you guys, and then Louis plays the second half for you guys. So we'll just take away your 2 most important players there and say a half-half.
I mean, you guys have a D1 team. That's why you have this stipulation.
Blah, blah, blah. Anyways, but I completely forgot what I was saying, Terry. But yes, it's going to depend how Dave is able to control the team if we get down early. I think he's been doing a better job of doing that as of late.
Because he's been playing more often than Marvin.
Maybe not. I think that it's going to be. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think either team will ever really take a 2-possession lead. I think if it happens, how is each team going to respond from that?
I think another key matchup that I thought you were going to mention, but I'm going to mention is going to be me rushing Dave, because we know how well Dave is at buying time.
Yes.
And you guys free up way more, and then Dave, he doesn't necessarily run that often,
no,
but he rolls out a lot and he buys a lot of time. So me being able to minimize that is going to play a huge role in that game.
100% for sure. And you talked about it. He buys time, but the last few games he's been rushing more, and he was also pretty good at that. When he has the play called, he's not sure who's open. He's able to deke by the rusher. He's able to tuck it and run. He's more athletic than we give him credit for.
He won't do that this Saturday.
Yeah. I'm not so sure. Don't count your eggs before they hatch, there type of thing. But I think that that's a big part. And you're right. I didn't mention that. A lot of big parts in this game, like the snappers and stuff like that. But I think it's going to come down.
We didn't have our snapper against KOLB, but he'll be there this Saturday.
He will be. Yeah. Okay. I look forward to this game. And after we lost to you guys in the season, I told you I want to put you guys in the playoffs. I think it'll be a good matchup.
Your wish.
We want a revenge. I think you guys want to prove that you guys are like the team to be in the division. And I think it's going to be a really good game.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. Hopefully it's, what time is the game at? 11? Hopefully it's not too warm. Fingers crossed, but
it will be our second game of the day.
Yes, that is true. Good call. Didn't think about that. So I think that'll play a little bit into a factor. But for the most part, we got young teams. We're a young team. You're a young team if you exclude Dave from our team. So I think we'll be okay.
Let's move on to the other D2 semifinal.
Yeah.
Outlaws Pittsfuck.
Yeah, I need time to think about this. Take it away.
So when they played in the season, Outlaws lost 35-31, I believe. Mm-hmm. Very, very close game that came down to the end. I think this game, we played Pittsfuck recently, and Dom LaFleur, if he wants to do what he wants to do in this division, he can. Yeah. He can run around wherever he wants to go. He could run, he could throw it down. And I believe Alexandre Bresse is going to be missing for les Pittsfuck. He has it with an injury.
Right.
But they still have abundance of talent on that roster.
Yes.
And we know that any player on that team could ball out.
100%.
Whereas Outlaws are maybe a little more top heavy with their top players in Josh and Dave.
Yeah.
Dave there. And yeah, this is going to be I really think any D2 team right now can win the championship.
I agree.
Out of the four, there's not one that you could easily count out and say that they have the less chance than anyone else. Any one of these four teams could be D2 champions, and we'll not be surprised.
100%. It's unlike the NBA as of the last few years.
Yeah.
Really.
I guess. So, Pittsfuck obviously coming off that bye.
Yeah.
Is it going to hurt them or is it going to help them? Outlaws played that high-intensity game against D Nasty. They probably thought it would have been easier than a 49-44 finish where D Nasty had the ball at the end with 2 plays left and didn't manage to score.
Yes.
So, we're doing the D2 semifinals, but we didn't recap the week that was, did we?
We did not recap the week that was. That is a good call. We could give our picks for this game and then do that after. Yeah, good call. Way to catch up on that. Completely flew by me.
A little rusty, eh?
Yeah, we were a lot rusty.
Well, I was just too excited to start talking about OG Panthers on our game.
I know. Yeah. Facts.
So, let's continue going with Pittsfuck Outlaws. Who do you have in this game and why? And
I have the Outlaws. I think what I was debating, I debated a long time on this, and I wasn't sure if Bress was out. And I think now that you confirmed it, I'm not sure if that was a deciding factor, but I think that leans me a little bit towards Outlaws. I just think that both teams have the experience. Both obviously could make the case that these are the two best quarterbacks in the division, in Dom and Dad. I think it's going to come down to them. It's going to come down to who's rushing for the Outlaws, how they're able to contain Dom. I just think that the Outlaws defense is due to have a big game, and I think that this may be the time.
That's a bold prediction.
Yeah, I think this.
To have it against Pittsfuck.
It is, but I think sometimes it's kind of just a mindset. No matter who you're playing, if you're kind of due and you need to have a big game defensively.
And you could see them having that mindset.
I think they can. I don't think they're going to hold Pittsfuck to under 4 touchdowns, but I do think that they will potentially make enough stops to win this game. I think that. I think it's gonna, and I think again it's going to be a 1-score game, but I'm going to have the Outlaws winning this game by 5 points.
It's crazy because on paper and realistically, with the Dom LaFleur effect, I just feel that Pittsfuck are for sure going to win this game. But something tells me that Steve's going to pull it off. Steve is somehow going to pull it off. Steve is an other type of player in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he's going to somehow pull this off. And it's crazy because on one semifinal you have Dave and Charles going at it, and then the other semifinal you have the two of maybe the best D1 quarterbacks in Dom and so Steve. True. Going at it.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be crazy to see, and then the finals gonna be right after.
Yeah.
Hard to predict who's gonna be in the finals.
I know.
So let's just say, I'm gonna say OG Panthers gonna stay on the game. So there's no point of asking this question.
Right. That's fair.
But I do believe that the winner of our game is gonna be the champion.
Okay.
I agree with that. I do think we're gonna beat you, but if you guys beat us, I think you guys are gonna be the favorites in the finals. No matter who you're playing between Outlaws and Pittsfuck. Mm-hmm. Especially knowing that you're probably not going to play that game and Marvin's going to play the full game.
Right? So a better chance to win the semifinals is what you're saying.
Going back to the recaps, I don't really have much to say.
So what do you have winning, Outlaws or Pittsfuck?
It's a toss-up. It's a coin flip. I'm going to say Outlaws.
Okay.
I'm going to say OG Panthers, Outlaws in the finals, and OG Panthers win that game.
Okay, I'm saying the same thing, but honor game and honor game.
Quick recap. KLB OG Panthers. OG Panthers were up 14-0 after a minute and a half in this game. The first play of the game, Jonathan Pro threw a pick 6 to Louis, and he juked out 2 people to bring it back. We got the 2-point convert on that. We were up 8-0. On the next play, he threw another interception. Charles punched it into GF Delos, and we were up 14 after like 2 minutes.
Defense,
we did not score any other points in that half, and KLB rallied on and to take an 18-14
Holy cow, I did not know that.
At the half.
Yeah.
And then we started the half with our classic Charles Louis bomb, 45 bomb, and we got right back into it, but the game was back and forth up until Simon Duchesne, not Duchesne, made a very clutch pick six that he undercut the route, tipped it to himself, and ran it back for six. He even made a clutch pick six in the Thunder Buddies games.
Yes,
he
I saw that one.
Pick sixes in back-to-back games. So, like, clutch playoff vibe there.
As they say, ballers make big plays in big-time games.
Oh, yeah. And we ended up winning that game. Obviously, the fact that KLB were without two of their top receivers, and Maxime Claude and Quentin Fanov, really played a huge role in that game. Like I said it in the previous show, had they had a full healthy roster, KLB was one of the favorites to win the championship in this division.
You know how high I was on KLB, right? Especially the fact they gave us our first loss of the season with Honor Game, and it was
to us.
Yeah, exactly.
And
there
they
you go.
Smacked both of us. Like
there you go. And I think that you can make this case that this team can go up to D1 within the next few years. But I think it was sad to see Plode on the sideline, obviously being like
the coach.
Yeah, but when he's playing, he's like the receiver and the defender for them, and I think that like it's always great to see guys who are injured coming to still support their team.
For sure.
I love seeing that. No matter what league you're in, to kind of support your brothers there. It was tough to see him on the sideline there. I think that if he was playing, the game could have gone differently, but not to take away anything from you guys. You guys are on a complete tear, and I think that you guys are hitting stride at the right point of the season.
Like. Plode doesn't throw that many interceptions and doesn't get sacked that often.
That's what I mean.
We intercepted him 4 times and I sacked him 4 times.
That's
Alex
shocking,
Valliere, by far the best rusher in D2.
Yeah.
I had to show him who was the boss in this game.
Yeah.
He only got Charles once.
Yeah.
But he got a safety in that game. That was a huge turning point.
Right.
But I got 4, he got 1. Also, Charles took 2 picks, but it was hard because I think it happened to Plode too, at least one of his interceptions. It was so humid and the ball was so wet from the sweat of everyone catching the ball that it just slipped out of his hands. Mm-hmm. And it just was, but it was the same thing for both teams there. But it's crazy because it wasn't raining, but you still felt like the ball not being as dry as you would have liked.
I think we would have preferred it was raining than how hot it was on Saturday.
100%,
honestly.
for sure.
Like not pouring there, but if it was lightly raining, I would have taken
even
that.
Pouring. I would have taken pouring over that. Yeah.
I probably would have taken maybe even lightning.
We wouldn't have played until it was lightning.
Oh, you never know.
Only Thunder Buddies would have showed up for that game.
That's a good one. Respect.
So how about your game, Joyce Haters Honor game? Quick recap.
Yes,
on that
Joyce
one.
Haters Honor game. Like you said, we were down 18-14 in that game. It was really good first half, actually. Went back and forth. We had the ball down 18-14. We threw the ball. Dave threw the ball to his receiver. I think it tipped off his finger, got intercepted. Kareem actually made a nice tackle to prevent a pick six.
Did they score?
No, they had 2 plays. They did not score. Then in the second half, we completely changed sides.
So they would have went up 2 positions.
They would have went 2 possessions. It would have been, it was a really nice tackle by Kareem to save there. Marvin played in the second half. He balled out. He had 3 touchdowns. He did something that he'd never do on 4th down. He caught the interception and threw it down.
Shouldn't slip out of his hands?
No, it didn't. I think maybe that's regular.
He didn't drop it.
He caught it, threw it down, and they call it incomplete.
That makes no sense.
I know. I think if it's regular season,
is he broken or something?
I screamed as the ball was in the air, knock it down. So I think it was Coach Power doing his job there. But no, honestly, it was a tale of 2 halves. I think that Joey's Haters have a really good team, and I think that with Max and Sean, they have a good
the other Max.
And the other Max, exactly, and Rudik, and do you think it was Max and...
Sean held to 2 catches for 10 yards.
But the thing is, he caught a lot of passes on the sideline that were, like, he just had, like...
catch.
No, but he was, like, it was a good throw, and it was a good catch, but I think our defenders were in good position, so they were connecting, unfortunately for them. They had, like, 3-4 plays that were just out of bounds. They say football's a game of inches, and I think that was the case for them there. But, we really turned it on the second half. Dave had a great game, and, I look forward to our next game with the Honor game, because right now we seem to be hitting stride.
Did you catch any glimpse of Outlaws and D-Nasty?
I did. I caught the second half of that game. A ton of scoring. Josh Levine's been balling out. I know we talked about, because before I joined the league... 8
catches, 107 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 1-point convert, 1 2-point convert.
Before I joined the league, he was like winning MVP left and right from what I could tell, and like he's now quote unquote, he's not washed up, but he's not as good as he used to be. But I just think Josh is at another level right now. I think that he could really be a D1 receiver and be a star D1 receiver. I just think the connection he has with Steve is really crazy. There was a play where Steve threw a hook. He caught the ball, and he's running full speed to the end zone, and Steve gives him crap because he didn't slow down. So he caught a 5-yard hook. He broke a tackle, and obviously he's not looking back to see if someone's behind him, and he's running full speed like Superman. And Steve was like, "Why are you running? Save your energy, save your energy." I'm like, "Bro, the guy just scored a touchdown. How could you be telling him off there?"
Did you ask Steve about that?
No, I didn't, because he probably would have like grounded me, even though it's not my actual dad there. But just to say, like, yeah, Josh on another level. Dave had a really good game.
Dave threw two 2-point converts in this game.
I think that that's something that he can use. I think obviously he's playing.
I still don't understand how that works so efficiently. Like, I'm telling you guys, on a game, don't try it against us. It's not going to work. You shouldn't waste your time.
Just because you mentioned that, we'll try it at least 3 or 4
try
times.
It's going to get picked for another 2 points the other way. Because you guys are one of the teams that scored the most 2-point converts. When you played us this season, you got 0 in that game. So try it. Go ahead.
I'm looking forward to it. God, Saturday can't come soon enough. But yeah, Outlaws. It was D Nasty had a good comeback.
Sebastien Béchard in a losing effort at 8 catches, 4 touchdowns.
He's nuts. He's honestly very, very good receiver. Hands of gold. Not the fastest guy there, but he runs good routes and is always in the right position. Yeah. And like every 50-50 ball is his. I think that was the case in this game. I think
Steve
Outlaws
throwing 3 interceptions
is very surprising. And like, how often do you see Steve throwing 3 picks in a game and winning? You know what I mean? If you pick off Steve 3 times,
he still threw 7 touchdowns and 250 yards and completed 23 or 33 passes.
Well said. I think that you're talking about the Outlaws. If they want to beat Petit Fuck this weekend, they're going to have to tighten up defensively. They really, really do.
And Steve has no room for error. Like, he can't throw anything.
That's not going to work again against. If it's going to be a shootout against Petit Fuck will win this game. And that's why I picked Outlaws, because I think maybe it will be a bit less of a shootout than we predict. But if that game's a shootout between Petit Fuck and Outlaws, I have the Petit Fuck winning. But I think it's time for Outlaws to make a stand, and I think one of their guys is going to get a key interception late in the game.
Okay, let's go to Division 3.
Let's do it.
Your division?
Division 3, baby.
Yeah, I want to start with this game so we get out of the way. Nice TDs, Old School. What an embarrassment. Like, I don't even know where to start. First of all, Chris and Andrew 0 for 2 on the day. They're going to use the excuse that they played back-to-back games, blah, blah, blah. But, like, this was the first game of the 2. They were down 24-0 in this game. I think Chris threw like a pick 6 on his first drive.
So I know for a fact, because I was watching that game, that Old School scored on their first drive. Nice play. It was a 34-yard bomb, eh? Yeah, a nice long bomb for Reeves. He had a really good game, Nick Reeves. And then the very first play of the opening drive for Nice CDs, Chris's famous all hooks. And
was it the first play?
Very first play. And Daik did his ball hawking thing where he just completely undercut it, walked in the end zone.
And it for sure wasn't Chris's fault.
No, I don't think it was Chris's fault or the receiver's fault. I think Daik made a good play. Let's give credit to the defender there. And honestly,
little disclaimer: like, Old School won this game. Nice does not lose it. Props to Old School. You guys deserve the credit, but give me a few seconds just to like,
of course,
crush Nice TDs here, because this team in the last full season we had in spring 2020 was in the D2 finals against a D1 team, the Centurions.
Yeah,
they went down to D3 with essentially the same roster. Mm-hmm. They have D1 Defensive Player of the Year nominee in Andrew. Mm-hmm. Chris Hope was also one of the top defensive players in Division 1.
100%.
So they have 2 top Division 1 players playing defense on that team when they weren't supposed to play defense.
Yeah, right.
At all.
Yeah, at all.
And they're both on the field both ways. Chris could throw in D1. He's at least a very good D2 quarterback.
Yeah.
At the minimum.
Right.
No one's going to argue that.
No.
And Andrew is one of the top receivers in D1. Mm-hmm. And the rest of the roster, just name a few, Nico, Simon, Ben, they all have multiple D2 years of experience.
They're all like above average D3 players, and I'd say D2 players.
And this team to lose in the first round and get upset by Old School, when they went down to D3, like, there's no words for it.
It's shocking. I think all 4 of us picked Nice CDs. I assume we all did. I don't know for a fact. I know I did. I know you did. But no, it is very surprising, Terry.
Crazy, like. They were, we want to go down a division, like, we don't want to blah, blah, blah. Like, what, next year you're going to go in Division 4? We're going to have to create a Division 7 for them. Like, what is this? Like, you guys, like, take any of the 2 top players in D1 and build a team around this surrounded by D2 players. This team was, yes, there's other strong teams in D1. Yes, there's you guys. Nice Old School are a strong team. There's Lieutenant.
In D3, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, in D3. But, like, to lose, it's not even that they lost in the quarterfinals, because there's a lot of strong teams that the competition was strong, but it's the way they lost. 24-0, and then not even show a fight in the second half. Like, it's crazy.
The thing is, we talked about like defense, and of course, like, obviously having Andrew and Chris playing defense is key. But think about it, Terry. They scored 6 points in that game. Yeah. That game came down to offense. And
what did Chris do? Like, how did he get shut down that much? Like, yes, Old School are a great team and they come together. Like, we saw them had that they needed to win against Washington Foreskins the week before. They were down big, and they rallied and scored on the last play to win that game. Yeah. And with their fans there, like, that's an unstoppable team in the playoffs, and you do not want to face that team in the playoffs. But still, to score 6 points against that team, when they just played like a couple of weeks ago in the season, and NXT's crushed them. Yeah. It was like a 20-point difference that game.
Which I thought was going to be the case in this week, to be
honest.
Where
was the Olympic speed runner? Where was like Andrew Talk? Where was like there's no point of doing that all season long if you're not going to show up in the playoffs when it really, really matters, right? Put up the 1,000-yard season if you want during the season and get double-digit interceptions, but when you come in the playoffs and you have 4 catches for 33 yards, like, that's not what's going to win you the game.
No, for sure. I think that you said something like really, really right. I know that there's only 1 sack in that game for Old School there, but I think that
Chris rushed 3 times for 10 yards.
No, but I was going to say exactly.
Where was he dancing on everyone?
There's only 1 sack in that game, but it felt like there was more. That's why I was surprised to only see 1, just because Chris, like, I could tell he felt like he was under pressure throughout the whole game. And
Maxim also had 3 tackles, so he must have gotten him like
just for a gain of 1. Yeah. Yes, exactly. And just the Chris didn't look comfortable, and the Nice CD's offense just didn't look comfortable in that game.
What I find odd is Chris had a sack in this game. Like, he sacked. Like, I don't know if that was an error or a run play that Chris jumped it or
it could have been. We have good scorekeepers, so I doubt it's a mistake there. But I think that for Old School, as weird as it sounds, the fact that they put Daik at quarterback helps their defense, and it helps their defense because their defense knows that even if they don't stop, they can still score with Daik at quarterback, so it puts less pressure on their defense.
Daik balled out 21 for 31, 182 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. And the Reeves brothers going 80 and 60 yards, combining for the 3 touchdowns this game, 13 catches, like, crazy.
It's honestly, it was unbelievable. I Mathieu texted me saying he's really pumped to play.
You guys?
Yes, to play. I think he's gonna put like his famous trash talk video soon, so I'm looking forward to that. Honestly, I'm looking forward to play Old School for 2 reasons. One, just because I love the group. They're like such a chill group, and their fans always make it 10 times more exciting. And number 2, just because they're playing super well now, and I think that both us and Old School are playing our best football right now, so it'll be really interesting to see. But Old School defensively, when we played them, we scored 7 points. We beat them early in the season. We won 7-6
and you need overtime score the 7th.
And Daik was not quarterback that game. And I don't think Daik was there that game. But just to say that they're a completely different team, but their defense has been fairly good all season. So I think it's going to be up to John to have like a near perfect game.
Where do Nice Cities go from here? Retirement?
No, I think they go to D2.
D2?
Yes, I think they go to D2. I think that the level of competition...
You really think Chris and Andrew are going to go up D2 after they get smacked like this in D3?
The level... No, but I think they should. I think the level of competition there will elevate their game.
D4 now, like...
I know. John's going to have to...
Chris was talking all year about how he deserved QB of the year. I know you don't take playoffs into account, but the way he played in this game, when the stakes couldn't have been higher, he was the favorite. Like, he doesn't deserve anything right now.
It's a really tough way to end the season for Nice CDs, and I think that we talked about them as the favorites, right? It was one of the favorites coming to the season. It's going to be a tough offseason for them. Good thing for them, it's not too long, right? You just have it's 1 week after the finals. I think if I was them, I'd go to D2, maybe look to add maybe one more D2 stud, but I think that they kind of played down to the competition this year, and that's what killed them.
Enough talk about Nice Cities. Before we move on, I just wanted to say Old School. I know we spoke about how much Nice Cities suck, but you guys won this game.
100%.
You guys won it, and congrats for that.
Yeah.
You guys balled out, and good luck against Iron Wolves.
Yeah.
I heard that Iron Wolves never beat Old School in the playoffs ever, and I also want to check it. And even when Old School had changed the name to Chuck Norris Action Squad, they still eliminated Iron Wolves that year. In most of those games, Iron Wolves was the favorite, just like this year.
Is this my time to say my famous line again, or that everything there's always...
What does Mama always say?
Mama always says, it's first for everything. Let's get it.
So I didn't catch much of the Deep Threats Black Knights game, but I'm glad I didn't. 40-6. Oh my God. I think Kevin's going to recap this one, so we'll leave him talk about it. Just going over the stats really quickly. Leon did not have the best game of his life. JC Blais balled out. You're looking at the stats, and Svetno is the leading receiver with 46 yards.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Harry had 3 touchdowns in that game, but obviously JC being hurt didn't help. But you'd still think that with Michael Iannella, Sean Kennedy, they could still pull up a fight, and we know how good Leon could be. I guess this was his off day, and him too, he just so happened to have his off day at the worst possible time. But at the same time, I think Deep Threats were going to outmatch them.
I think Deep Threats have been clicking on all cylinders the last few weeks. I've been super impressed with like you talked about, the way JC Blais is playing. And I think maybe one of his knocks...
It's funny when you say stuff that don't make sense. Like, Deep Threats lost to Mustard Tigers the last week of the season, and the week before that, they had lost by forfeit because they didn't show up.
Yeah,
so
but
the last few weeks are when, like,
the forfeit doesn't count. Like, the week before that, like, it just...
Yeah, the week before that, like a month ago in July,
yeah,
they were clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. And look, they were clicking on all cylinders the very, very last game, so that's all that counts for now.
Usually I let you, like, talk and say whatever you want, but it's the playoffs now. We got the trophy in the background.
And since I'm back, you gotta continue all the weeks I missed. But as I was saying before, you really cut me off. Is that JC? I think one of the knocks on him was that he would look to Svetna on almost every read, and obviously there's nothing wrong throwing the ball to Svetna 100 times a game.
I would throw 200.
That's what I'm saying. But I think that he's doing a better job of kind of mixing it up and using all of his targets, and I think that makes it harder to predict how this offense is going to score. Obviously, we know Svetna is going to be the number one guy on offense. He's going to be the number one guy on defense. He's going to be the guy, too, that they look when they need to play on fourth down. But there's other guys on that team that can make plays, and I think that JC Blais is realizing that now, and he's using all his tools. He's been having like a really good season, like we talked about, one of the most improved players like over the last few seasons there. And I think that it was surprising to see Deep Threats win this game in such an easy fashion. I think that they deserve this game. They balled out. They looked A1. I'm a little disappointed in Black Knights, to be honest. I think that I don't want to use
this
the JC.
Is a team that on paper we saw them before the year. We're like, this is a D2 team.
Yes, exactly. I don't want to use the JC not being there as an excuse. Obviously, if JC played, would the score have been different? Yes. Would they have won the game? No.
For sure.
JC is obviously a great player there. But I mean, look, they have the ballers on the team, and Leon's a great quarterback. And if I'm being nice, I'll chalk it up to the first season together with this group of guys, maybe.
Yeah.
I know
we saw 10 games to...
But the thing is, Leon has also thrown to Sean before, right? And he's also thrown to JC before in the wintertime. So I'll just chalk it up as a season trying to figure each other out. I really hope these guys do come back in the fall, whether it's D2 or D3, because I think this was they underachieved this season. And I think that they're looking for more, and they're going to be hungry coming into next season.
Next up, Les Tannantes Washington Foreskins. I didn't catch at all anything about this game. Les Tannantes won convincingly 44-27. Phil Farran and Simon Anctil are unstoppable together on this team, combining for like 12 receptions, over 120 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Sorry to cut you off. I'm glad you mentioned it's pronounced Anctil. Is my French correct there?
I guess.
Okay, I'll just say Simon. I'm glad you said that, because he often gets overshadowed because of how good Phil is on the team. But I think that if you put Simon on any other D3 team, he may be the number one receiver on that team. It's just because Phil is such a good receiver that they obviously the best duo in D3 for sure. And I think that the fact that defenses have to account for both of them in D3 is scary, and putting up 44 points is not something I'm really surprised by.
I was shocked how I thought this game was gonna be closer. I think I had the thing about the Tannantes, we didn't know who was gonna show up, and they had more inconsistencies. Their high was obviously higher than the Washington Foreskins high, but their low was also definitely lower in the season where we saw them when they were missing their quarterback and other players. True. Gabriel Proulx is a great quarterback, and he threw 6 interceptions in this game. Yeah, that's so that was definitely costly. Yeah. Jasmin Henry, the quarterback of Les Tannantes, picked him off 3 times.
Damn. There you go.
And he also took 3 interceptions in this game, so it was
he got the 3 back though.
9 total picks in this game. That's crazy. Yeah, really. I'm not gonna talk about it too much. I didn't see much of this game, but Washington Foreskins definitely a better team than this game shows.
For sure, I think that
a tough quarterfinal matchup going against Les Tannantes.
But 100%. But what a game that's going to be Tannantes against.
You want to start with that one, or you want to start with...
We'll start with that one, sure, just because they played early in the year.
They played earlier in the year, and it was a 1-score game. I remember reffing that game, and it was a rainy day, so the score was 20-13 for Deep Threats. Mm-hmm. And I remember late in the game when... I remember speaking to Phil and Svetna before the game, asking if they go man to man on each other, and they both said no, we don't. We want to focus it just on us, because they both teams defenses play like a 4-1, where Phil and Svetna are the one. Yeah, and it makes sense, right?
Yeah, of course.
And both of them have crazy sideline speed. They both pinpoint the ball. They're both like ball hawks. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, Svetna was catching a bunch of balls on the sideline underneath routes, and Phil's doing the same thing in the offense. And then late in the game, when Tannantes absolutely needed to stop, that's when Phil started matching up Svetna man-to-man, playing him 1 yard off on the sideline and really going at it.
I love that stuff.
And that's when you were seeing them after every play where there was a catch, incompletion, ball tip. They'd lift each other up, give each other props, and they both lived up to that matchup. But I only saw one drive of it. And after the game, this is we had spoke about it on the podcast before talking about that matchup. That's what we wanted to see. Yeah. I really hope they do it from the beginning of the game. Yeah. But we know that deep threats have a lot of secondary options, and so do les Tannants. So yes, you might take that away, but then who's gonna like win the second battle? Simon, Harry, you got Bloistein.
Yeah,
like,
Bloistein, yeah.
Yeah, like it's gonna be crazy to see. Like, are they gonna keep that model? What are they gonna do? And like this game, like no offense to Old School or Iron Wolves, but I really see the winner of this game winning the championship if they have their whole roster there.
That's fair. Obviously, I'll probably disagree.
I think both these teams have such a high-powered offense, and like I probably won't get to see that game because I have a bunch of games playing this.
What time is that game at?
It's at 11, so we'll be playing against each other at that time.
True.
But yeah, that's gonna be a crazy game.
Yep.
And like I can't wait to see who goes out on top. And like if both teams have their full rosters, I've seen as much as like Deep Threats have had it easy all season. They didn't play any high competition. Mm-hmm. They've just been cruising. We've seen like Tannant like pound teams and like show how strong they actually are.
Yeah.
So like it's really gonna be a great game. That Phil Farran, Jonathan Svetna battle is gonna be insane.
Yeah.
And see who's gonna come out on top. What do you gotta say?
Yeah, I guess you give your pick after. I think I was thinking about this as you were talking, and I went back and forth who I'm gonna pick, and I'm gonna go with Deep Threats. I think football, most important position is
quarterback.
I think I trust JC Blais a little bit more right now at the quarterback position, like we talked about. Then Henri.
Okay.
Yeah, I know his name. So yes, I think both quarterbacks are good quarterbacks. It's no knock on Henri. I think that JC Blais has.
Is Henri his first or last name?
Last. I think that I've
I'm impressed.
Thank you. Bro, you got me on track. I think that, like I talked about before, JC Blais has learned to use his tools, and I think that's something that's key for him. And I think that his ability to, both quarterbacks can run the ball, so that's like something that they're going to be able to use to their advantage. I think it should be a close game. Again, I keep saying one-score game. I think this is going to be another one-score game.
Well, you'd like for playoff games to be one-score games, and you'd think they would be, right?
100%. I think it's going to be similar to what you said happened in the first game. I think to start off, we're going to see both ballers line up in 4-1, both playing the 1. I think you said that's because that's how you have to start the game. I think that eventually you can move on to maybe playing both guys, Svenna and Farran, playing man-on-man against each other. I think what you do is you start this game playing your base defense and then adjust later on in the game if your defenses can't get stops. Ultimately, I think this is going to be a really good game. I think this game is going to come down to converts, and I think that right now I just trust Blais a little bit more than I do Henri. I do like both those quarterbacks, but give me the Deep Threats to win this game on converts.
I'm really worried about the fact that the Deep Threats never had faced any tough competition in their whole schedule, right? Like the game against you, they were missing their quarterback.
Yeah.
That game against Tannant was maybe their hardest game, but it was a rainy game. It was like kind of a slow, sloppy game, and they kind of like ran they averaged 40 points a game and gave up 6 points a game. Like that's literally crazy. That's a little thing that worries me about them. But it's very cliche to say in the playoffs, and I've repeated this like since we started talking about D1. The first quarterback to make a mistake in that game that's what's going to cost them.
Yeah.
And both quarterbacks are really, really like good.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a coin flip to think who's going to throw that costing interception in this game, because both of them I've seen them have lows in past seasons.
Yeah.
But I've seen that maybe JC Blais being protecting the ball more this year than he has in past years.
Right.
So I'm kind of leaning towards Deep Threats on converts or one possession game. But I would not be shocked at all if like les Tannants win by a possession or two in this game.
Me neither, honestly.
Like it's really that close.
I think it's really, like you said, it's heads or tails who wins this game. I really do.
Old school Iron Wolves.
Yeah, I obviously can't pick against my team. I think that it's going to be fun to have a rematch against these guys. Obviously, this time having Daik at the quarterback position will be big for Old School. I think this may be another like kind of ugly, low-scoring game that you see like in the 1980s, 1990s. That's kind of look, Iron Wolves. We don't play the most fun type of offense or the most fun game, but I think that's what we excel with. I think that's like kind of like the way John likes to run his offense. I think what's going to be key in this game is kind of is Daik at the defensive position, playing that safety, and how the Iron Wolves are able to kind of defend that deep ball, because I feel like right now Daik has developed a great relationship with both Reeves brothers, especially deep. I know they got speed, they have the awareness and the ability to kind of track balls while they're in the air. So I think that the secondary for us is going to have to play a good game. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it'll be a little low scoring. I think maybe 3 touchdowns to 2, maybe even 4 to 3 max. I don't see either team getting more than 4 touchdowns on this game. But I'm gonna pick us just because I can't pick against us.
Like, it's really hard also because I think you guys are the better team, but I know how Old School is going to give it their all.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
This game's going to, even if, like, when you're looking at, like, the talent or whatever and, like, the way you guys dominated the season going 10-0, this is probably going to be one of your hardest games.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, you're gonna have to. It won't be a pretty win, and like I really think this game's a toss-up. I could see it going into overtime, but I'll be bold here and I'll say I see Old School winning, keeping the trend. A lot of people say that past is not indicative of the future, but some people think it is.
Yeah, it's somewhat true. Like you guys,
I think I'd rather be right calling Old School to win and being wrong about that than saying you guys win it. So
you don't actually think they're going to win. You're just saying it to look cool.
No, I think it's a toss-up, 50-50. So then that's like the game
deciding
breaker.
factor.
Yeah, exactly.
Got you.
So I see finals of an Old School against Deep Threats or Les Tenantes.
Who? Deep Threats or Tenant?
I think I'm gonna go with Deep Threats, but it's so like this is kind of like in D2. Any team can win the championship here.
Okay, bro, don't be beating around the bush, bro. Who is your D3 finals matchup?
I say Deep Threats are gonna be the D3 champs.
Over Old School.
Yes.
Okay, correct. There you go.
Correct. That's what's gonna happen.
No, I think correct that you actually gave your pick.
And you
so
have
if this happens, if I cross the street, then maybe I'll run into my neighbor's best friend who might be wearing long short. Yeah, like anything can happen, bro. Gotta be firm.
Any given Saturday.
Any given Saturday, baby. College football is just around the corner too.
Oh yes, it is. D4. Let's start with Titans Thunder Buddies.
Shocking.
Shocking the way it happened. Had Thunder Buddies won that game by one possession, you wouldn't have been shocked.
I
right?
thought Titans were going to win the game.
Yes, but if Thunder Buddies would have pulled off the victory, you would have not been
shocked. I would have been surprised. I think that Ben had his worst game of the season. Yes. I assume he did.
It has to be.
Throwing two
touchdowns,
many
touchdowns and interceptions,
which is obviously
he didn't
very
score
rare.
A rushing touchdown. He rushed for only 59 yards.
You guys basically had identical stats at the quarterback position in terms of running. Eh? Like you guys ran about the same amount, although you added the touchdown, he didn't.
Yeah.
I think that Terry was probably the best game I've seen you guys play, and you specifically play all season long. You were throwing darts left and right. I think you had kind of that you had that double quarterback thing working when you guys went on conversions, and. Like, honestly, I saw every single one of your players make a play in that game. And I look at the ball distribution. Again, that's one thing you've been doing good this year is distributing the ball evenly, which is so important, especially in D4. And a really tough way to end the season for Titans. It was honestly shocking is how I describe it. I was very surprised.
I think we came to that game more prepared and ready.
Yeah.
Like, not that they took that game lightly, obviously, because they knew we were a good team. Mm-hmm. But I think that, like, we viewed this game as a championship game. I repeated in the past, I think the winner of this game is winning D4.
Yeah.
And that's the way we approach this game. Like, we saw it as our finals. Like, we had to beat this team, and this team was in our way.
Right.
And I probably played the most efficient game of, like, my quarterback career.
Yes.
Like,
it was more than efficient, right? It was
it wasn't pretty. Like, I didn't throw that many deep balls. I was taking what they were giving me in the short. I was running when I could have ran, and like I was shooting the ball, and also like I think me rushing Ben, I limited him to the most as I could have, but I think the fact that I was rushing him also played in his head a little bit because he didn't face a rusher like that all season long.
Right.
And I saw he wasn't trying to run as much as he would normally, and he was trusting his players. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, there were some key drops. There were some key drops in that game.
Yeah, I saw that.
From some of his players that they didn't help him as much as they could have. Mm-hmm. And because I was giving him time to throw. Like, the game plan was to let him throw, right?
Right.
And I was giving him the time he wanted to throw. I just didn't want him to run.
Yeah, of course.
But everyone on our team played super well. Like, it was 100% a team victory on offense and on defense. Like, we showed up, and I think if we played the way we played in that game, like, no one could beat us in D4.
Like, look at those stats: 40 yards receiving, 23 yards, 23, 21, 18, 9. Like, your leading receiver had 40 yards. Usually, like, your leading receiver in a game would have like 80 to 90. Where like touchdowns, and 1, 2. Like,
five guys with 3 or more catches.
That's what I mean. It's I think it's going to be hard to stop, and I think that I'm excited to see you guys play Flamingos again. I don't think. I don't know.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. 2? Yeah. Okay. Hopefully we'll be able to see that game.
The D4 semis and the D4 finals, there's no other games at the same time for now.
Okay.
So you'll be able to stick around and watch.
Okay, perfect. So hopefully John actually makes a schedule that makes sense.
Speaking of the Flamingos, how scared do you think they were in that game? First of all, Les Bouchers, have your heads up. Yes, you guys played the best game of your life.
Oh my god!
Everyone was counting you out, and I think the spread in that game was something like 19.5 points, ridiculous. Everyone was counting you guys out. Lucas Drouin played amazing, almost 200 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He was driving the field, and I was reffing that game. Steve was scorekeeping with me, and he kept telling me, "Wow, this quarterback has the potential to play in higher divisions. His ball placement, the accuracy, the way he throws it,
mechanics.
It's so nice, and it's as if he's been playing quarterback since he was a child. And he even scored 2-point converts in this game. The thing that really costed them It was 14-14 in that game. And then early in the second half, he took a bad safety. The play clock was coming down, and like he snapped the ball early. His players didn't kind of know what routes they were running. I think they ran some bad routes, and he took a safety in that game.
Shoot.
That should have been a time where maybe a more veteran team would have called the timeout, sucked it up, and then lived to see another day. Because after that, like there was 12 minutes went by where there was no score. It was punt after punt, and like teams were like trusting their defense in that game. And prior to like the final play, like to hold like Flamboyant Flamingos to like around 20 points for most of that game when this team has been averaging like over 50, like props to your defense.
Yeah,
like
really.
Their quarterback threw 2 interceptions as well. And this is a game that I think Boucher had about 1 minute left to drive the field, tie game. They score, they get the convert, they're up. Oh no, did they get the convert?
They did, that put them up 6.
Yeah, sorry. They were down 2 points.
They put them up 1, sorry.
They were down 2 points because of safety, and they scored to be up 4. They got the 2-point convert to be up 6. They went for 2 to make sure that they're up 6 in case of a Hail Mary, because they were down 4 points, and they got that 2-point convert.
Got you.
And then Flamingos with 2 plays left threw a Hail Mary that was caught about 10 yards before the goal line, in front of the goal line, and somehow he managed to get in. There was missed tackles. I think Boucher were in a 3-2 formation over there, and like there were 3 guys still playing short, and it was the last play of the game, and you were wondering, what are they doing?
Absolutely incredible. This was the best MFL game I've seen all year long.
Yeah.
I think the fact that everybody was watching the game, because I think our games had the majority of the other games finished early. This game was exactly what MFL was about. It was, whoever said D4 can't be exciting. That honestly,
no one ever said that.
No, exactly. And whoever did say it is silly.
But no one said it.
Well, you're right. But yes, I think that the second half of that game, Terry, I love seeing the emotion by both teams. Honestly, I think not only was it great emotion, but it was respectable. There was no taunting, and I think both teams had
it hurt for Boucher at the end.
I like you actually like shed a tear for them. Like
probably would have been the upset of MFL history.
It's hard to beat the top dogs, right?
And that was the 8th seed going against the 1 seed. That was 8 against 1.
That's like
and the 1 was undefeated. Like we're gonna witness something crazy. Like I don't know if that has ever happened. Like
100%. And I think that you didn't like. Until like that final play there, like I really did think after Boucher scored the touchdown and the conversion, I thought the game was over. And they were saying, guys, don't celebrate too early, don't celebrate too early. And it was like it was a great way to buy time. And then Chris made the catch at like the 8-yard line, and kind of like he just shimmied to the left and then walked into the end zone and then dove falling in. It was a touchdown there.
He fell
afterwards.
Yes.
I was there with my pizza, like watching what was happening with my Gatorade.
Jaw dropped.
It was honestly, it was insanity, Terry. And I think that like I was saying, the way that both teams were able to show emotion, how everybody was watching the game, it felt like a finals. It really, really felt like a finals. Heads up to both teams. And don't forget, that was a tying score to make it 28-28. They had to compose themselves and get the extra point. It was I think it was a really simple out route by the snapper out on the goal line, and was able to dump it off him, use his big body to secure the catch. A nice catch there. It was honestly one of the best flag games I've ever seen / been a part of / refed.
Crazy.
And I think that I honestly think that it's destiny now for Flamingos to win the championship because of that game.
All that for nothing. You'll see next week.
We'll see.
Boucher, like I hope they come back next season. I'm not really sure if they are, but like heads up, and like they're gonna learn from this.
Oh, 100%.
Like they're gonna really learn from this, and like they grew so much from the beginning of the season. Like this is a brand new team that took one of the best teams in D4 to like it's looking this to get beat, right?
Yeah.
And like this is an 11-man roster that showed up. They had that rotation going. Obviously, they have ballers across the field.
Yeah.
And that, like I said, Lucas at the quarterback position is really, really good. And like they're gonna learn from this, right? Like I just see it coming back. Them coming back better and more hungry.
Oh yeah, 100%. Use it as motivation. Use it as fuel for sure. Totally.
Next game that I didn't really get to see a lot of: Serial Killers and Les Panaches.
Yeah,
Panache.
Panache.
Did you get any of that game?
Very little, but I know Panache were able to get 4 interceptions in that game, which is rare because Sam doesn't throw too many interceptions for
that's one of the things that was
killers.
shocking for a new quarterback coming in the league and like new team, and like he was keeping those interceptions very low throughout the season. One thing that I was referencing the other D4 game on the
Boucher one.
Yeah, on the other side. And I just heard like I love the Serial Killers team. Like they're a great group of guys. Like I love their intensity. I love their Instagram page. But before the game, they were cheering me on. I don't know if you heard.
Oh yeah. Is that because you won the picks?
I don't know if it's because I won the picks. I don't know if it's because I won my Thunder Buddies game. I don't know if it's because they love me.
Yeah.
Let us know what it was for. But probably all of the above.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I love that team's attitude and like that spirit and like everything. Like they come in the league. They have their own Instagram page. They have a cool name. They have nice pink flashy jerseys.
Yeah.
But you guys got to stop whining during the game. Like I was hearing it so much from the game across the field where I was playing. Like. You guys played the full season, so there's some rules that you should know now, and you're like whining about stuff that like at one point the guy was running backwards, and like, oh, he's running backwards, but like you're allowed to run backwards if you want to or stuff like that. Or like I heard like I turned on some points, I saw the guy was clearly out, and they were saying he was in. Like just focus on playing your game. This game was 26-6 at half, and then you guys started coming back into the game. Had you guys just kept the focus all game long, I think it would have been much closer and you would have had a chance to win it. Obviously, Le Panache is a veteran team in this league, and you guys held your own against them. And first season in this league, going into the quarterfinals, making the playoffs, like you guys, I think, overachieved this year, and like you did really great things. But you got to learn how to be more focused and concentrated during your game, and leave the refs officiate their game. Besides myself, you probably had the two best referees reffing that game in Kevin and John.
I wasn't reffing that game.
You didn't ref all day long, so take that as a step your game up next season as a ref. Yeah. So seriously, you had like two really good refs that like referee that game. Let them ref the game. You guys focus on the game. And yes, Samir doesn't throw that many interceptions. And at one point in the game, I don't remember what the score was or anything, but I saw him throw like a pretty bad pick, and I saw his team almost like give up on him. Like I saw him like hands up in the air, kind of doing the Chris Hope move, you know, and like being like kind of discouraged, but instead of rallying the troops and coming back, and then you guys started scoring points in the second half. Le Panache, you guys were causing them to make mistakes, and you guys came back. It was a little too late, but Syracuse bought this game within a score. With 7 minutes left, it was 33-26. And you guys were in that game. You had a chance to win it. Yeah. So just take it as a learning experience. You guys are a great group of guys. Like I loved refereeing you guys or playing against you guys in that game, and just seeing you in the MFL, pretty much what the MFL is about, besides the whining during the game. And
I think I think that like part of the downside of being a team that shows a lot of emotion, that's like always hyped up and stuff like that, is like you'll get the whining, you'll get the complaining and stuff like that.
But Flamingos are a hyped up team that scream and they don't have that side.
Exactly. Not using it as an excuse. So just to kind of be wary of that and know, like you said, like even if the two referees in that game weren't great refs, it was their first time, like... But
they were great refs.
Right, I'm saying, but even if there was calls that are missed, right? Like, that's part of MFL. It's part of MFL. I know it's playoffs, we want to get all the calls right. So, like you said, Terry, trying to respect the refs there. We're all trying to do...
I'm not saying there was any disrespect towards the refs. They're not a disrespectful group of guys. Right.
No, that's not what I meant.
It was more like they're more whining and complaining, but they were not disrespectful in any
way. Right, got you. And I think that comes with, like, you know, a game that they really want to win, a playoff game and stuff like that. But I think, like you said, Terry, I really hope to see those guys back in the fall. I think they will be back. They seem to really like it. Tough way to end the season. But Panache, honestly, since making that quarterback change in the beginning of the year there, Felix has looked really good.
Scoring 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, and 6 touchdowns to 5 different receivers. Speaking about ball distribution, he had 5 different receivers with a touchdown, and Amélie scoring 2 touchdowns in that game. Being the player of the week, I believe. This team is looking unstoppable. They have that great offense, that great defense. And that's going to be a great matchup between Panache and Rosas. Before we get into that, just quick recap of that Rosas Wolfpack game. I think the game ended at halftime because we beat
27-7,
without Marvin. So we're not going to really talk much
Jason
about
was throwing in that game. I didn't really speak to him after, but I think he had a bit of a tough game. Like you said, Wolfpack were missing guys. And I think Rosas is just a much better team. So
let's get into Panache Rosas, because this is the battle of number 2 and number 3.
Yeah.
This is going to be an insane game.
It will be.
2 really, really strong teams.
Did they play against each other during the year?
I'm checking that right now.
I've been on the Rosas.
Nope, they did not play.
Okay.
Yes, they did. And Panache won that game 25-20.
I'm going to go with the reverse this time. I got Rosas winning this game. I've been on the Rosas, bandwagon
since
hype
they beat
train.
Thunder Buddies?
Yeah, I really have been. And it just like seeing...
Actually, before, because you chose them to beat Thunder Buddies.
It's true, I did. Thank you. And I got that game correct. But they... I love the way kind of they just gel as a team. I think like for a D4 team, they take it very serious and they're very organized. I think that always...
They're all about the stats.
No, I wouldn't.
No,
That's not what I'm saying. But I think that again, it's going to be another really good game. I think that it'll be a back and forth game. I just think that the Rosas defense is going to be able to kind of force a few turnovers in this game, maybe get 2 or 3 interceptions, and I think that it'll be early in the first half. It'll be a close game. Halftime, it'll be close. And I think maybe near the end of the game, we'll see Rosas pull away by 2 touchdowns. But I got to go with Rosas there. I've been on the hype train all year long, and I got them going to the finals.
Look, in the game they played against each other this year, Felix had a clean game, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and Ludovic threw 2 picks in that game, and Panache won by 5 points.
There you go.
Like, the key of, like, if people have been listening since the beginning, what I've been saying, the quarterback make the most mistakes probably going to be the determining factor of who wins and loses.
Yeah.
But I think Rosas got better since that game because they played early in the season. Rosas have arguably the best receiver in the division.
Yes.
Like, by far the best rusher in the division. So that's going to be a great matchup to see how he'll be rushing Felix. As we know, Felix loves to, he doesn't necessarily run all that much, but he also buys a lot of time, rolls out, and runs for key first downs when he needs to.
Right.
This is going to be a really, really close game. I can see this game going to overtime, being a one-possession game, being won on converts. But I do think I give the slight edge to Rosas since I think they're more explosive and they could get more points if needed.
Right.
Whereas Panache have been more of a, not conservative team, but
nickel and dime type of thing.
Sure.
Yeah. You know the expression nickel and dime? Nickel and dime, like you move up the field slowly, progressively.
Like dinking and dunking?
Yeah, exactly. Nickel and dime.
Cool, I learned something new.
Yeah, you do.
Never thought you'd teach me anything. So, yeah, I see Panache and Rosas, but sadly, like, you guys don't really have to force yourselves to win this game because you're going to get your hearts broken in the finals.
By Flamingos.
I mean, I think Thunder Buddies are winning the championship, but if Flamingos do end up beating us somehow, they're going to win the championship.
So that leads me into my, so you have Thunder Buddies and Rosas.
Thunder Buddies and Rosas.
And you got Thunder Buddies
Obviously.
winning. I got Flamingos and Rosas, and I got Flamingos winning.
Okay. So you agree with me that the winner of Thunder Buddies and Flamingos is winning the D4 championship?
I do. No, if you guys win, I think that Rosas will win.
True. So what's your analysis on the Thunder Buddies Flamingos game, though? Do you think we stand a chance?
Yes, 100%. I think you guys do stand a chance. I think that... have you guys played it this year?
No.
No way. The key in this game is going to be... how both teams are able to distribute the ball. I think that what was cool about last game is that the quarterbacks for both teams, like you and Dimitri, it was Dimitri that quarterback last game, right? Jake. Okay, they were able to kind of distribute the ball, and I think that if you look at last game, the Morin brother didn't really have like great stats in that game, and we're used to when Flamingo's putting up points, it's one of the Morin brothers, getting a ton of touchdowns, getting a ton of catches. So I think it's really going to come down to how each team is going to be able to use the secondary guys on their team. The wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. I do think it'll be a high-scoring game. I'd say the over-under in this game could be something
100?
like... No, maybe not. Maybe like, I'd say maybe 75, 76 there, 6.5. But I think it'll be a good game. I think that trying to contain you during key downs when you try to run the football is going to be really important for who's ever rushing for the Flamingos. I just think that the Flamingos have been a great team all year long, and I think you guys have shown glimpses of being a good team and maybe be a little inconsistent at times. So I'm just gonna go with Flamingos. Flamingos.
It's the playoffs, man.
You're
See
right.
that trophy? When that trophy steps on the field, we turn on the switch.
I agree with you, man, but I gotta go with what's happening during the season. I'm gonna go with my my buddies in pink.
You're used to being wrong anyway, so
yeah. So if I'm wrong one more time, it doesn't really make too much of a difference. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Flamingos winning that game. I think it'll be a good game, but give me Flamingos winning in a shootout.
Let's go to D5.
Yes.
Quick recap of Phoenix against their last calls. Shockingly, when you're looking at the QB stats, Kevin threw 2 interceptions, whereas Guillaume threw none. And Phoenix came up on top in that game 34-25, so 2-possession game. They won by 9 points. Last calls were actually up 19-13 at half. I didn't really get to see this game, but I did get a glimpse of one of Kevin's, like, he rushed like down the sideline, and it's as if no one wanted to tackle him. Like, I don't know if they were scared of his beard or something, but like it was a 35-yard touchdown run. He ended up for 66 yards on 4 carries.
He got a 35-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
Well, no wonder he was too tired to play Outlaws game.
But seriously, like Sebastien was a factor in this game. 92 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Baller.
But Nick Hussein balled out 11 receptions. Talking about ball distribution, this is not ball distribution. Nick had 11 receptions, and then the second most was Jan with 5. Nick 77 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 1-point conversion.
It's almost like Nick and Kevin are related.
How are they not stopping him? Like,
yeah, really.
But that's one thing that I think the spin doctors will do more intelligently. Like, they'll have like someone shadowing Nick, knowing that he's the main guy on that team. Catherine Blondin stepped up with 2 huge sacks, and Gabrielle Chaput added 1 herself. This was like a good team win for Phoenix all around. We predicted a close game. I could have seen the upset.
Yeah, me too.
And I think the last calls played very good in this game. They didn't turn the ball over, but Phoenix just won on that playoff mode switch. And Spin Doctors on their end defeated Gold Rush very convincingly. Gold Rush only had 5 players. Their top player and defensive player of the year nominee Jonathan Clark didn't show up. He kind of wasn't sure if the game was that date or something like that. I'm not too sure, like where he was up north or something. So that really played a role. Gold Rush started off really strong with Travis rushing for a touchdown, and then on the first play of Spin Doctors, they got safety. So Gold Rush were up 8-0 with the ball back, but the game just completely changed after that. And
it's hard to win with 5 players.
Raph played amazing this game. 6 touchdowns, no picks. They had players contributing all around. Lorenzo 100 yards. Rob Wright with 3 touchdowns. He was running that same fade back of the end zone. He was all alone.
He had
uncovered.
a great day on Saturday.
Yeah,
even
he
in
played
Honor
great
Game
with,
too.
He played great with Honor Game. He played good with Thunder Buddies. He balled out Spin Doctors.
My God, how many games did he play?
A lot, and he was still alive at the end of the day. And then we have Chris and Andrew complaining about playing back to back. Whoop-de-doo.
Let's hope they're not watching the show.
No, but seriously, Rob came to the field at 7 in the morning because Kevin's his ride, and Kevin came super early to the fields. So Rob was there from that, and I saw Andrew posted something on Facebook, and then Rob commented, I was there. And then Chris no, I played 2 games back to back. You being there from 7 in the morning was not worse than that. Come on, bro. The guy was there from 7 in the morning. He played 4 or 5 games. Yeah. I don't think he also played 2 games back to back.
Right, right. No, it's true. You're right. Honestly, that's a love about Rob is just his energy and his his willingness to play and his love of football. I think that it's cool to see him bring out the best football of the year when it matters the most. Yeah, and I think that as a veteran, he's able to turn that switch on.
He also had 5 tackles, and Travis tried running a lot in this game. 8 attempts for 50 yards, not 1 touchdown. But Spin Doctor was just too strong. So we're getting that third matchup. So the series is 1-1. Kevin won the first, Ralph won the second, and they both won pretty convincingly each of their games, right? And it's the finals we all wanted to see. It's going to be at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday.
8 in the morning.
8 in the morning on Saturday.
Well, both teams are Kevin's kind of old, right? So they get up early anyways.
Well, Kevin has been for the fields.
Yeah, true.
I think they both have conflicts. They can play later in the afternoon, but what a game this is going to be. Who do you got? How do you see this game going?
Phoenix is going to win, in my opinion.
You got Phoenix winning?
I have Phoenix winning this game. I think that Julian Sobolewski, is that the correct?
Yes.
Yeah. He's a baller. And I think that if you look at everybody on the field, excluding quarterbacks, I think he's the best player. And he's kind of a tier here.
Vince Blondin is also there.
Yes, Blondin is there.
But it's Vince Blondin D5.
No,
it's not the same Vince Blondin that plays D1.
It isn't, but think about it. They're on the same team.
Yeah.
Right, think about that. So, I'd say you have him here, and then you could have Vince right under him.
We also got Steve Scott on the other team, Rob White.
You're right. No, you are right for sure. I think both teams have ballers. I think that Kevin...
Oh, man, I forgot Rob's playing at 8 o'clock in the morning. You better be in shape if you make it to the finals. The D4 finals at 3:30.
That's true.
Well, but seeing how he balled out last week, I have no doubts.
True. But maybe Flamingos will have something to say about that. But I say that I think, I really do think that this is perfectly, you know what I mean?
How was it scripted up from the beginning of the year, right?
There is a God, right? You know what I mean? There's a God, bro. There's 1-1 in the series. They're in the championship game. You know what I mean? It's whoever wins gets the 2 rivals. I think that it's going to be, I see it being a good game. I see both offenses struggling in the beginning. I think there'll be a few jitters. I say maybe we're going to see a few interceptions to start the game. I think at the end of the day that Julian Sobolewski will be the difference maker. I think both quarterbacks are great. I think that the experience of both of them will come into factor later on in the second half.
I think the fact that the game's at 8 in the morning really, really benefits Kevin and Phoenix. Had the game been later, we know how much of a hit Kevin takes from being at the field so early.
Yes.
That really benefits them. Spin Doctors lately had shown no weakness. The last couple of weeks they've been playing great football, whereas Phoenix has also been dominating, but the 2 lows, or the 2 kind of games that they played really poorly, they played really bad. Yeah. If Kevin has a bad game, it's finished.
That's when he's throwing the ball, he's like, oh crap. You know what I mean?
He doesn't say crap, he says another word.
Yeah, well, somebody can't see on there.
No, John, we're allowed to swear.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're allowed to swear.
I don't swear.
William! Okay, but what was I saying?
I forget.
Oh yeah, Kevin. If Kevin has a bad game, Kevin had many more good games than bad games, and when he plays bad, it's really bad. And I feel that Phoenix's highs were really, really high, but their lows were really low. Even though those lows have not been as frequent as the highs. I wouldn't say they're an up and down team because they've been dominant like 75% of the time.
Yeah.
But it's really hard to predict if they're going to have that dominant game because we know that Raph gets into Kevin's head. And we know that there will be trash talking in this game.
Right.
And we know that now, not only do Phoenix have one trash talker of the year nominee on that team, they got two. And Nick and Kevin are related. So we're going to see how Nick tries to get into Raph's head as well and call him trash and see how like Raph's going to like come back. And like this game for 8 o'clock in the morning, you guys better have your coffee ready because like there's going to be trash talking, like it might end in a brawl.
You best get that Tim's run before you go to the game. But I changed my mind. Even if you're not refereeing that game, let's go for 8 o'clock. I think you just convinced me to go to 8 o'clock for the field. We may as well just like sleep at the field type of thing. Like, gonna wake up at like 7 anyways, probably even earlier.
And that's gonna be the first finals of the day, right?
That's gonna be really exciting, and it's gonna be that with the D1 semifinals at the same time too, right?
Yes.
So that's gonna be some great football at 8 in the morning.
Yeah, great football all day long.
Rise and shine, baby. It reminds me of like a March Madness, but like football type feeling. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So like for my pick, I feel that whoever I pick is the other team that's gonna win because like
the other team's gonna win.
Yeah. Every time I pick against Phoenix, the few times that I did, they won. So I have a feeling Spin Doctors are going to come out on top.
So who do you want to win?
I don't like. I'd be happy for both teams.
Okay.
I think Kevin wants it a little too much, and
that's such a thing as wanting to win too much.
No, but like he brings in D1 players. He's like he was crying about this, crying about that. Like he's like, oh, I'm gonna bring in this guy who never played football. The guy's like a baller. He plays like he's like a college basketball player. Like so like. And I think Spin Doctors came from very, very far. Like Spin Doctors week 1, I think like no one on that team had like knew what a football was. Like I mean, just a little exaggerating a little bit, but that team came from so far, and Raph did such a great job coaching them up and building like that game against Gold Rush. It started off bad. Gold Rush scored the first.
Yeah, really.
On the first play, and Raph got safetied, and they had some drops. He threw some bad passes, and he's like, "Guys, we're rusty."
He is a great coach for the team.
He's
though.
like, "We're rusty. Let's get our shit together."
As much as he can tell off his players when need be, he never puts guys down, and he's a great coach for that team at the quarterback position. He really is.
I think obviously Phoenix have the better roster, and Phoenix on paper have the better chance of winning. Mm-hmm. But I think I see Spin Doctors winning, and because I'm going to say this, Phoenix are going to end up winning. But my choice is Spin Doctors in this one.
Is it okay? So can we do a bet live right now that whoever wins this game, the other guy owes the other guy McDonald's?
Sure.
For a lot, yeah.
So you got Phoenix?
Yeah, I got Phoenix.
And I got Spin Doctors. Yeah. The loser pays the McDonald's.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, shake on it right now. Okay, good call.
Don't we usually do? Your hands are all sweaty.
I know they're always sweaty. I'm sorry.
Stressed?
I wish you didn't mention that.
You see the trophy and how you
mentioned that on air.
How are your pits doing?
They're fine. Thank you very much for asking. But yes, okay. So McDonald's.
We usually do that anyway. What difference does it make?
No, yeah, but it makes it even more fun.
And ice cream.
Ice cream, but whoever wins this can order like a bunch of stuff on purpose. Yeah. Like if I win, I'm ordering like lunch for the freaking week, bro.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm ordering like freaking a bunch of stuff. I'm inviting my buddies over.
It surprises me how often you think you're going to be right when you're always wrong.
That you know what reminds me of is Jaff. That's straight up Jaff. That's straight up Jaff.
Jaff is like so adamant about being right.
I've never seen a human who is more confident when wrong in my life. Like he would convince me that this is red. He convinced me this is a red shirt and it says Montreal on it. He'd say it says Montreal on it. And I'm 100% sure, and you're an idiot if you think it says anything else. That's Jaff.
Yeah, but we know Jaff likes putting on a show and like exaggerating a little bit. Like he's not actually like.
No one can be as cool as us or as me, I'd say.
All right. So anything else you guys about Div 5?
No, that's it for Div 5.
This is our last show of the season.
This is a little sad.
We'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yes, we will be back in 2 weeks.
I think so. I don't know if the contract got renewed. John didn't tell us anything, but
that is true.
We're assuming we'll be back in 2 weeks.
And if we're not, well, then MFL goes to shit.
You guys better do a strike. No one show up week 1.
No, nobody show up week 1. But let's we gotta end the season. Let's do bold predictions.
Let's right before that. Let's not forget that. On the Sunday, the 29th, the day after the championship finals, everything, there's a get-together that MFL does every year. Mm-hmm. It will be at a restaurant bar. It was advertised to be at this place, but finally, that's going to be changed. We do not have confirmation yet where it's going to be, but by the time this video is up and posted, John should have emailed all captains and made a couple of posts on Facebook letting you know where it's going to be. But Sunday night around 6 p.m., we're going to have a get-together, booze, food. Bring your friends, family, everything, anything you want.
Grandmothers.
And that's where like teams are finalized for the fall season.
Oh, we're right.
And that's where the tripping goes. And that's also where the awards will be announced. Mm. Those awards are like, people are here for that trophy, but a lot of people are there for like the little medals you win. Mm-hmm. So that's when we're going to announce all the award winners for all the divisions, including Brassard.
Okay.
So make sure you're there
Yeah.
to get your medals, get the food, have a great time. And we hope to see you there on Sunday.
This Saturday, we're doing hot dogs and stuff?
No, that's going to be the week after. That's going to be week 1 of the fall season, to open up the fall season.
Oh, okay. So this Saturday is just like the
Normal.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, with championships obviously
Yeah.
awarded. That sounds great. I'm super excited. Don't think I'll get much sleep Friday night, and I look forward to not getting much sleep. Bold predictions. I'll start because I'm putting you on the spot. Let me think of one on the fly. Yes. Okay. So what I said, I think that Thunder Buddies and Flamboyant Flamingos, each team will score over 40 points.
Each team will score over 40 points?
Yes. And I think the way that you guys score your points is by getting pick sixes, not you throwing touchdowns. No, I'm kidding. No, but I think it'll be a good game. Yeah, and I see both teams. I see Flamingos winning a close
thing
game.
is
Both
that,
teams scoring
like,
40.
If we're down, it's possible. But if ever we have the lead, like, I got some Steve and John in me where I slow the game down. Like, that game against the Titans, I think they had 2 drives in the second half.
Okay, but like I didn't really ask for your opinion. What's your bold prediction?
What's my bold prediction?
I give you my bold prediction. You're giving me an analysis. I don't want an analysis of my bold prediction.
I'm just letting you know why you're going to be so wrong.
All right. Sounds good. We'll see.
I was going to say you're not going to make any finals, but I think that's a little mean. Because I could see you making at least one.
Well, it gives me
What
motivation.
I could say I could be the first MFL player to win 3 championships in the same day.
Would you?
Yeah, I think I would. Because last year, Steve and I won 2 on the same day. And we
Right.
were the first to win 2 championships in the same day.
Wow.
So I think no one has ever won 3 then. What do I got?
And you can't say it's like Kevin's gonna be like wearing a shirt or the guy. Bro, the grass has been better, eh? Like, the grass is not
on field 1. On field 1, there's a huge mud slope.
No, but it's not hay anymore. Is what I'm saying.
No, it's not hay.
It's not
The
hay.
baseball field is though.
It's hay.
Yeah, it's hay.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the sprinklers get to there if the sprinklers are even working.
I think we need to take out the sprinklers,
But
bro.
that fall season's gonna be bad.
Oh my god.
Like, I know John and Kevin have been doing some work on the field.
Imagine if they haven't been.
Yeah. Okay. Wait. Okay. I'll say all 5 finals will combine for over 250. No, that's not that bold. Okay. All 5 finals will combine for over 300 points. That's 60 points a game per final.
Okay.
That's bold.
Yeah.
Bold enough. Yeah.
Yeah, that's somewhat bold.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say something like they're going to all be within 1 score, which I can see that happening too.
Yeah. Okay. I'll say they're gonna all be within 1 score and combine for over
That's
300
good.
points
Yeah,
on
I
top
like
of it.
that. That's going bold.
Adding some sugar
You
to
gotta go bold for our last show of the season. But that's it, eh?
That's it. Yeah.
I never thought I'd say I'd miss doing a show with you, Terry, but I think I will miss doing the show
I'll
with
still
you.
probably see you too often.
Yeah, I know, for sure, definitely. After this, I hope you drive me home. But yeah, folks, that's it for this season. Hope you guys enjoyed MFL Total Access. The first time, really, that we had a podcast for the show in a long time. But yeah, I appreciate all the love you guys give us. Appreciate everybody watching.
I want to hear some more love.
Yes, for
or
sure.
hate.
Yeah, tell us. Really,
Now's the time for us
yes.
to adjust. Do you want Will back in the fall, or do you not want Will back in the fall?
And same with it. Or do you want me to do it solo? I could definitely do it solo.
That's pretty awkward.
It would be awkward. Although if anyone can pull it off, I think it could be me.
Yeah.
But no, give us feedback. Obviously, we're going to be here back for the fall
Constructive
season.
feedback,
Yes.
like not construction feedback. Like
Yes.
we're willing to listen to anything. If you want to, like, should we bring in more guests, like, and have us both there interviewing someone? I don't think so, but let us know if you guys want that. Yeah.
That's it for the is it summer season 2021?
It's the spring.
Spring season of 2021.
Yeah.
Hopefully you who's watching this right now will be holding one of those on Saturday night.
There isn't a greater feeling, man.
There isn't a greater feeling. That's 100% correct. Yeah, so thank you guys for everything. I'm super pumped to be back. Excited to see everybody in the field. Hopefully those who aren't in the final are able to come, show their support, and kind of bring that MFL vibe together. But it's been an honor doing the show. Thank you, Terry. Thank you to our guests who have been on the show. And that's it, boys and girls. We'll see you guys this Saturday for the finals.
See you on Saturday.